Hey, you biggest losers, how's everybody doing out there? So, what we're going to talk about right now is failure, and we'll eventually, the next one will be about success. But right now, we're going to just talk a little bit about failure and how we define it, how we see it in our minds. Um, Failure is a word that we don't really use too much these days, but I kind of like it. And because it really describes, sometimes, when you're doing as many push ups as you possibly can and you fail, it really describes the level of effort that you put in. And so I appreciate that effort. And that's what brings us to the whole point of how we define and how we look at success and failure. I think they're intertwined. I think that failure leads to success. You cannot have success without the failures. So, without going too deeply and embracing your failures and wallowing in your failures, we don't want to do that. What we want to do is look at that failure, feel that frustration that comes from that failure, and from that frustration, find the motivation to look as clearly at the failure as possible to understand why we fail. That is the purpose of failure, is to learn how not to fail. So don't do what you did before or slow down or whatever it is. I mean, we experience this all the time in class when we're doing a new move, right? The first few, look at how many of you couldn't do a Bulgarian lunge. For those of you who've never been to class, it's a long story. But how many of you who couldn't do a Bulgarian lunge now do them relatively easily? And now we have to add weights to that. Okay? The same thing is true. You had to fail at the first 3 or 4 or 5 times you tried it before it started to get in there. So we have to do the same thing with weight loss and changing our lifestyle. And so, but we have to recognize why we failed and what we did to fail. A lot of times we set ourselves up for failure. Are we doing that? Or are we using failure as an excuse to get out of, not doing this because it's uncomfortable, right? I don't want to go without that. I don't want to go to the gym. I hate exercise. We have our mind telling us all of these things that is actually bullshit, because you can retrain your mind to like the health club. You can retrain your mind to like eating healthy. It's a matter of making that mental jump. Again, we're back to the mindset thing. So where do you want to be and how bad do you want it? That's back to your why. You see how this is all intertwined? So understand from your failures, why am I failing? And is it because a matter of something that you're doing to yourself? Where's your mindset? I'll ask you guys to put that one down in the comments. We need to have a discussion about this one because this is a big one. So tonight's meeting is going to be on why do we fail and what does that mean to me? Have a great one.